SEMA isn't necessarily all about aftermarket parts and accessories. It's about what you can do with your car, and that can be a new car as well. So manufacturers are getting involved more and more with these shows to show people what they're able to achieve. So we're going to tour this hall here where we have a number of manufacturers, and we're going to find out what they've got on offer for visitors to SEMA. At Chevrolet, it's all about diversity, and it all kicks off here with this car. It may look familiar, it's the Colorado, but this is the ZR2, so it's a bigger, meatier off-road version. The Colorado here in the States is a mid-sized truck, so it's slightly bigger, and they call it a truck, of course, plus side-exiting exhaust pipe. But check that out, it's being towed by a giant Silverado, which you can now also get in Australia. Over here we have the green future for Chevrolet in the Bolt EV. So it's a full electric car, small body, and by all accounts, it looks pretty cool and fun to drive as well. But the car that's got me interested is just over there. It's the all-new Chev Blazer. Not coming to Australia at this stage, but would absolutely love to see it in Oz. Now, if Lexus is more your style, they've gone from being, over here sedate, but a little uncool, to being very cool. We've got two cars we've already seen, the UX Custom Study and the LC Inspiration, finished in a pretty awesome looking yellow colour. And this car here is an RC, awesome looking paint job, neons underneath. Now, if big sedans are more your style, how about an LS with giant wheels and carbon fibre? But the car that has me excited is the ES over here. Not because it's an ES, but in the boot, there's teak flooring and a setup for all your nicest wines. Plus inside here, you also have a custom headrest as well. This may look familiar, it's the Camaro, and it's now in Australia, but it comes to us with the steering wheel on that side. We then chop it all up and the steering wheel comes onto this side, which is why it's so much more expensive than it is here in the States. Now, what if you have a classic? Well, Chev has you covered there as well, because there are crate engines you can buy to stick in your classic to make it just like a brand new car. This right here is the new Hyundai Veloster N. How good does it look? I love that haunch at the back there. It uses the same drivetrain as the i30N. Now, interestingly, they won't be getting the i30N here in the States, but we will be getting the Veloster in Australia and maybe getting the Veloster N, not confirmed yet. Also not confirmed is this over here. How good does this look? We've got an array of wheels you can choose from, plus performance parts. Look at that exhaust, it looks absolutely cool. New iBark springs, anti-roll bars. It's a very cool setup there. And I also love this right here, a Santa Fe towing a Veloster N to the track. At Honda, it is all about race cars. We've got a GT3 race car. We've got another incredible racing prototype with a twin-turbo V6 engine. And we also have the NSX as well. But you may be wondering what that is there. That's the Acura logo. That's a brand we don't get in Australia because it's just another division of Honda. It's like the luxury arm, and that's what they call them in the US. So where this is a Honda in Australia, it's actually an Acura here. I know, it sounds ridiculous. Supra is all the rage here at Toyota. Have a look at this. We're going all the way through the old series up to the A80 and then the A90, the brand new Toyota Supra. Oh no, they don't have it yet. Yet another prototype version. We will finally see this car eventually, I promise. Let's be honest, the Corolla isn't the most exciting car in the world, but Toyota gave 5 Corollas to 5 different tuners to come up with their ultimate interpretation of the coolest Corolla. And have a look at this, they've done a pretty good job. I like all of them, but my favourite is this one here. It's the Hoonigan camera car for when size really does matter. FCA is Fiat Chrysler Automobiles, and their official aftermarket accessory arm is called Mopar, and this is where you go to get all of your aftermarket parts for Jeep products, suspension, diffs, you name it, they will sell it to you, and that also applies to other FCA brands. Have a look at this. On each of these parts you have a part number, and that means you can order that to send to Australia and fit it to your Jeep, just like you would here in the US. So it is a good way to go about things if you want to start modifying your FCA branded vehicle.
Well, it's something like 10 o'clock at night, 5 hours after the show is finished, and finally we can actually move on the Kia stand. You can see here the star of the show for us as Australians, the Queensland Police Stinger GT. Behind me there's a Dub modified Stinger, which I think looks amazing. They've also modified a K900, so Kia went to the guys at Dub and said, build something for us. Here we've got the Forte drift car, which was built with the guys at Red Bull. Crazy bonnet exiting exhaust. We know it as a Cerato in Australia. And then there's also a modified Telluride over the back, which is their large SUV. We don't get that in Australia. And I have to say, after spending 2 days walking around the halls here at SEMA, I'm still really impressed that a manufacturer like Kia, that may have been perceived as being a bit, not as interested in performance or a little bit understated, is here showing people and showing the world that they're interested in this kind of stuff. I think it's fantastic, and it'll resonate all the way out to markets like Australia.
We can't get onto the Ford stand at the moment. They're moving some cars around and stuff. Hashtag safety, but I can walk you through what they've got on there. 4 versions of the Ranger. Now, this is the Ranger that's just about to launch in the US, built on the same platform as the Australian Ranger and engineered partly in Australia too. These look fantastic. They've got a whole bunch of performance mods and also aggressive off-road mods on them as well. Their performance catalogue looks like it can also be transferred to the Australian Ranger. So fingers crossed that Ford will come to their senses and bring that to Australia too. There's also another car that's quite special. It's that blue one there. It's the new Ford Edge. So it's got a facelift. That's another car that's coming to Australia this year. It's going to be replacing the Ford Territory that stopped being manufactured. Not 7 seats and a little bit pricey, but we'll see how it goes when it finally lands. And our favourite, the F-150. They just keep modifying these things despite the fact it's already modified. But I love it anyway. So as you saw, it's not all about aftermarket here at SEMA. Manufacturers play a big role in showing customers what they're capable of doing, and you never know, some of these things actually make it into production. Certainly a few things around here that I would love to see on the road one day.